Hello everyone and welcome to the Beat Popcorn. And today I will do the short retelling on the movie The Human Centipede. Sit down in your comfortable chairs, get some popcorn, let's go. Dr. Heiter sitting in his car looking at a picture of dogs standing mouth to butt. He arranges the photos to move the dogs closer together to where they are overlapping. He gets out of the car and follows a man into the woods. He shoots him with a tranquilizer gun. Lindsay and Jenny, a couple of American girls from New York, are on vacation in Germany. They're out at night driving to a dance club and get lost on a dark road. Suddenly they get a flat tire. No cell phone, no signal, it's raining. Some creep drives next to their car, asks them if they needed help, so they refused. They leave the car and set out on foot to find help. They walk through the forest instead of following the road for an hour and find the house of Dr. Heiter. Dr. Heiter invites both women into the house. He pretends to call the tow truck. After a short time, he offers them a drink that appears to be a rape drug. Lindsay accidentally breaks the glass when Dr. Heiter suddenly gets very angry. Dr. Heiter went to the basement and prepared an injection with some kind of strange liquid. Lindsay cleans up her water while Jenny falls asleep due to side effects of the drug. Heiter informs her of a rape drug, Rohypnol, and its side effects. Lindsay begins vomiting, collapsing and crawling. Heiter takes her by her hair and injecting the contents into the back of her neck, causing Lindsay to fall unconscious. Lindsay wakes up in a basement. She finds herself tied to a bed with an IV attached to her arm. Horrified with the fear and distress, Lindsay starts crying and screaming, desperately trying to wake up her friend Jenny, who is lying in a bed next to her. At the same time, all three of them, including the truck driver who Heiter had shot earlier, recover consciousness. Suddenly, Heiter switches on the lights. Lindsay watches in absolute horror as Heiter injects lethal dose of toxins into the truck driver's IV. Within a moment, the man's life fades away. Heiter proceeds to dispose of a lifeless body. Heiter brings home a Japanese man named Katsuro as another prisoner. Heiter explains that he is a leading surgeon in separating Siamese twins. Nowadays, he's more interested in joining rather than separating people. He's going to cut their kneecaps so they are unable to stand and then sew them together, mouth to anus, creating a Siamese triplet, or as he calls it, a human centipede. Lindsay, driven by her will to survive, manages to untie herself and run. When he suddenly has her trapped, he explains that in an act of sadistic punishment for her attempt to escape, Dr. Heiter promises to give Lindsay the most painful position for the healing process, the middle. Katsuro will be in the front spot and Jenny becomes the unfortunate occupant behind. Lindsay goes back for Jenny, who is drugged and dizzy. He shoots Lindsay with a tranquilizer and begins his operation. He mutilates their bodies, removing their front teeth, lips and damaging their buttocks to provide access to the anus. He also cut off their kneecaps, leaving them unable to walk and forcing them to crawl. Once the operation is complete, time passes and the centipede begins healing. "I did it," he screams as he gets all teary-eyed with joy. Heiter takes the centipede to his living room, taking photos and introducing them to their new form through a mirror. Heiter makes them go out in the yard. He attempts to train his centipede by treating them as pets, feeding Katsuro dog food. Since Katsuro is the head of the centipede, he is basically in control of everything they do, and so he is extremely disobedient, not following any orders given. Several times, Dr. Heiter brutally whips the trio for disobedience. Then Lead has to poop, and that means it's time for the second segment to eat. Dr. Heiter brings the human centipede in for a checkup. Katsuro and Lindsay are both in a good health, but Jenny's surgical wounds are infected and Dr. Heiter decides that she must be removed from the centipede, killed and replaced. As he examines her, the police knocks on his door. He returns upstairs to greet the officers. They are concerned about someone hearing screams. They ask to visit his cellar, but he refuses to allow them. He tries to drug them both, but neither will fall for it and threaten to return with a search warrant. While Heiter is dealing with the police, the centipede gets loose. Katsuro arms himself with a surgical scalpel. The trio hide in a hallway. When Dr. Heiter comes back downstairs, Katsuro attacks. He stops Dr. Heiter in foot, twists the blade, then jabs into his shin. When Dr. Heiter falls over, Katsuro bites a part of his neck off. The human centipede attempts to escape and crawls into a room. During the difficult climb, Jenny starts to tear loose from the two in front of her. As they try to break out the window, Heiter crawls up behind them with a scalpel. Katsuro gives a long speech in Japanese about his bad lifestyle and God's revenge, and then he cuts his own throat. These two girls share his circularity system, so they start dying as well. The police return with a warrant, as threatened. They kick in the door, while Dr. Heiter limps away, locking what is left of the human centipede in the room. Dr. Heiter manages to stab one police officer in the neck, steal his gun, and shoot the other one. Though the officer is dying, he fires off one shot and hits Dr. Heiter directly in the head, killing him before he dies himself. In the room, Jenny slowly dies from her infection. With Lindsay the only living person inside the house, she's unable to do anything since both the other parts of the centipede are dead. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and see you in the next episode.